Class 10th, Assalamu alaikum. Our today's lesson is the fourth part of your Unit 11 GMOs, that is genetically modified organisms. Now, in this part, you're going to receive the grammar part or the grammar explanations of your lesson, that is Unit 11. Page 115, let's start from choose the correct option in the following statements. The information database of an organism is called, the correct option is genes, correct option is D. But turning point in this field was discovery of the gene. In this sentence, the phrase turning point means A option is correct, a point in a chain of events at which an important change occurs. Number 3, scientists first discovered in 1946 that DNA can be transferred between organisms. The idea expressed in this statement is based on, correct option is A, fact. Number 4, after carefully reading the text, genetically modified organisms, it looks to be argumentative. Correct option is D. Number 5. A few decades ago, manipulation of genes in people, plants, and animals was just science fiction. This sentence means a few decades ago, control of genes in living organisms seemed imaginary and was not possible in the real world. Moving on to page 116, vocabulary. Deduce the meaning of unfamiliar words from the content by using evidence from the text and explain if you were correct, close, or totally off, and why you think that happened. Now, the first word is breeding. It means nasl kashi, reproduction, and correct. Yes, we were somewhere around it. Explain why and use evidence on the text. Text is because this lesson is about reproduction, genes, replication, and science students use this word a lot. Next is manipulation, saazbaz, handle or control. Correct meaning manipulation method, using force or using your strength to move people towards another idea. Resistance, muzahimat, refuse to comply, correct. Stimuli, tahreek, a thing that evokes a functional reaction. Luminescent, roshni dene wala, giving or emitting light. Evaporates, tabkheer, to change into steam. These are all related to your science lessons, so in English it is easy to understand. Next is writing. Keeping in view the text and recent advances of science, write argumentative essay on the topic truth is stranger than fiction. This essay will be given to you in the video in which all essays will be discussed. Next is search the internet about genetic modification made in animals and write a paragraph on the first sheep ever cloned called Molly. This also will be sent in the essay part only. Next is listening and speaking. Make a group comprising of 5 students each and discuss with each other the possible impact of genetically modified food on our future generation. This is all classwork. Now let's move on to the grammar part, page 117, types of sentences. There are 4 common types of sentences in English. Each sentence type has a different purpose. To make statements, declarative sentences. To ask questions, interrogative sentences. To give commands, suggestions, warnings, imperative sentences. To express strong emotions with statements, exclamatory sentences. Classify the following sentences as declarative, interrogative, imperative, or exclamatory. Number 1, yikes. I feel terrible that you got into an accident this morning. Exclamatory. Where is the school? Interrogative. The smoke alarm battery should be changed at least once a year. Declarative. Shut the door now. Imperative. I love this plant. Exclamatory. Slow down before you get into an accident. Declarative. How many students are in your class? Interrogative. Did I say anything to make you angry? Interrogative. Changing an affirmative sentence into negative, interrogative, and exclamatory. Study the following sentences. They are in the pattern adjective plus of plus noun, then pronoun, or plus to infinitive. Examples. It was good of him to help the poor man. Affirmative. It was not good of him to help the poor man. Negative. How good of him to help the poor man? Exclamatory. Was it good of him to help the poor man? Interrogative. Next is Shazia passed the test. Affirmative. Shazia did not pass the test. Negative. Hurrah, Shazia passed the test. Exclamatory. Did Shazia pass the test? Interrogative. Next example is Peshawar is a very big city. Affirmative. Peshawar is not a very big city. Negative. What a big city Peshawar is. Exclamatory. Is Peshawar a very big city? Interrogative. Rewrite the following sentences in negative, exclamatory, and interrogative forms. It is kind of you to invite us. It is not kind of you to invite us. How kind of you to invite us? Exclamatory. Is it kind of you to invite us? Interrogative. He is very generous. He is not very generous. Negative. How generous he is? Exclamatory. Is he very generous? Interrogative. She is very knowledgeable. Now in negative form, she is not very knowledgeable. Next is in the exclamatory form. How much knowledgeable she is? Exclamatory. And is she very knowledgeable is interrogative. Gold is very precious. Gold is not very precious. How precious gold is? Is gold very precious? The wind is blowing from the west. The wind is not blowing from the west. What a wind blowing from the west. And is the wind blowing from the west in the interrogative form. Moving on to simple sentence. A simple sentence is the simplest form of a sentence. It contains the basic components that make a sentence, that is subject and verb, and the complete thought. It has one subject and one predicate. A simple sentence has one independent clause and no dependent clauses. Therefore, a simple sentence is also referred to as an independent clause. Simple sentence and independent clause are the same. Examples: she cried, she is the subject, cried is the verb. Sarah liked the book, Sarah is the subject, like the verb, book an object. They were late, they the subject, were the verb, late adjective. My mother and I waited for my father, my mother and I subject, waited verb, for my father object of preposition. She didn't want to go to school, she subject, didn't want verb, to go to school object of preposition. Now what is a compound sentence? A compound sentence has two or more independent clauses. These clauses are combined with the use of a coordinating conjunction for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Independent clause plus coordinate conjunction plus independent clause, compound sentence. Independent clause plus for, and, not, but, or, yet, so, independent clause, compound sentence. Examples: I like tea and he likes coffee. Independent clause, in other words, it could be a standalone sentence. Joining method, independent clause, he likes coffee. These two are separate sentences joined by a word. It is also important to notice that punctuation can be used to form a compound sentence. Using a dash or a semicolon between two independent clauses can also create compound sentences. He bought me a dress, comma, but I didn't like its color. Salim has returned home, comma, so we didn't meet him. He can lift it with one hand, dash, I've seen him doing it. Now what is a complex sentence? A complex sentence is made up of an independent clause and one or more dependent clauses connected to it. In complex sentences, the clauses are connected by subordinating conjunctions. Some common subordinating conjunctions include when, until, because, while, if, although, after, as, before, whenever, since, and whereas. You can construct a complex sentence by including the dependent clause first, followed by the independent clause. Now, dependent clause plus independent clause makes a complex sentence. Example: when the cake is brown, comma, take it out the oven. Dependent clause is in the beginning. This can't stand alone as a sentence. Independent clause, this can stand alone as a sentence. Note that a comma should be used at the end of the dependent clause if you are writing the dependent clause first. However, if you are including the independent clause first, a comma should not be used. State whether the following sentences are simple, compound, or complex. The house was destroyed in the fire, comma, but the whole family was saved. This is a compound sentence. Walking through the wood, comma, he saw a fox that was following him. This is a complex sentence because walking through the wood is dependent. The large horses walked slowly. This is a simple sentence. If I do not get this job, comma, I will start a business. This is a complex sentence because if I do not get this job is dependent. He said that he was so disappointed that he would not try again. This is a complex sentence. The men who rule the world with their pens are mightier than those who rule the world with their swords. This is also a complex sentence. Javed and Palvasha went home. This is a simple sentence. The evil that men do lives after them. This is a complex sentence because the evil that men do is dependent. All that glitters is not gold. This is a simple sentence. Neither the color nor the design of this cloth appeals to me. Now this is a complex sentence. Now unit 11 is complete. I have sent you all 4 videos. It is hopefully you will be able to understand the entire lesson. Please like and subscribe the channel and do go through the videos for a better understanding of the lesson. Thank you.